When I started trading, I knew straight away this was a mental game. I made a vow to myself that never again am I ever going to gamble. Where they're dopamine deficient, now they're looking to gain that dopamine. They now will do whatever it takes, whether it's over trading, whether that's FOMOing into a position, essentially not waiting for confirmation and entering, just to feel like, just to get that rush in dopamine. The systems that I've developed and the tools that are available are essentially there to gamify the process, to detach from the outcome.
Today's guest is someone whose name has become synonymous within the prop firm space. Rodrigo has managed to coach clients into 20 million worth of funding and over 2 million worth of live prop firm payouts. It's an absolute pleasure to have him here with us and discuss trading psychology and what takes the edge to take a trader into a profitable career. I'm looking forward to getting deep into it, so let's get started. First and foremost, thank you so much for coming down, a little way down the road for you, and I appreciate you taking a bit of time to talk to both aspiring traders and people who've been with us for a while about the edge that's needed in trading and your own personal experience. So for anyone who hasn't met you, tell them a bit about yourself and what you've achieved so far within this space.
Well, I've been in this space for just over 11 years now. So I started in 2014.
Yeah.
My background is in psychology. So when I started trading, I knew straight away this was a mental game.
Okay.
And it took me a while to become profitable. It took me 4 years. And it wasn't until I found mentors, it wasn't until I was surrounded by profitable traders that things started to click. And I realized then that when you combine mental strategies with accountability, that's when you start seeing progress. And since then, I've been coaching traders. I've coached over 150 traders now. And I've developed not only mental models for myself that have worked, but also personalized mental models that work for individual traders. So yeah, that's my expertise. That's what I've been doing right now in the space. I actually stopped trading in 2023, in the beginning of 2023, because there was just such a huge demand for psychological support.
Okay.
You know, there's a huge saturation of technical mentors, technical coaches, communities, but there's not a lot happening for psychology. And so I wanted to meet that demand. I wanted to help traders out. And yeah, since then I've grown to 2 more coaches. I've got 2 full-time coaches in my team. My team has grown. We've got clients all over the world, UK, US, Dubai, Australia.
Beautiful.
So yeah, I feel like I'm the type of person that can provide a lot of value. Now, hopefully this conversation can provide value to your audience.
Tell me a little bit about that full circle that you just mentioned, that you started off as a psychologist, you became a trader, you realized the level of demand required on your own psychology, became profitable, then gave up trading to revisit a psychologist within a trading field. Talk to me about that wheel, if you like, or that evolution of your career and the changes within yourself during that time.
Yeah, I think that evolution, it came with a lot of pain and failure.
Yeah.
So where I hit a roadblock, I needed to find the solution. So in order to find a solution, you need to break down the problem. And so when I got out of university and I'm like, okay, what do I need to do? I want to make money. And to actually pursue a career in what I wanted to do, which was in working with criminals or ex-convicts, I wanted to work in rehabilitation. I had to do a master's degree. I had to do further studying, and I was done with studying. I wanted to make money.
Yeah.
And so I started, that's where trading came in.
Right.
And in fact, my cousin did a course in 2013, 2014 in this building. And he paid about £1,000, and it was literally a copycat of Baby Pips, right? And so, but he started making money off it, as you do as a beginner. You punt, you win, and then you start telling everyone about it. When I started doing the same, I realized that, hold on a minute, there's a lot more to this. It's not just support and resistance, because I'm feeling huge amounts of emotions here. I'm essentially gambling, and I don't like it. And the reason why I knew I was gambling was because when I was at university, I had a friend who invited me to the West End. And he said, bro, you gotta come with me. They give you free drinks in this casino. Check it out. So we went there. We were getting free drinks, having a good time. And at the time, obviously being university, I don't have a lot of money. I had my grant, I had student loans. And throughout 3 months, I had these massive highs where I was doubling, tripling the money I was betting on the night, to weekends where I'm literally losing everything I have placed. By the end of those 3 months, I was left with absolutely zero.
Right.
And nothing to show for it. Now, when I started trading, I noticed the same emotions. I noticed the huge euphoria when I won the trade. And I noticed the depression, the frustration when I lost the trade. And so I knew I was treading a very thin line, because during those 3 months where I was basically gambling, I was addicted to roulette. I made a vow to myself that never again am I ever going to gamble. Never am I going to do this to myself, because that's not how my parents brought me up. Because when I had to admit this to my mum, I've never seen so much disappointment in her face when I've had to basically go to my mum and say, Mum, I've got nothing. I need help. And she was like, why? When I told her, it was just her face of disappointment. I was like, I'm never going to put myself or my family through this ever again. So my journey has been literally hitting roadblocks, a lot of pain. Okay, how do we break this problem down? How do I stop gambling? And so then it's about seeking people who have gone through the similar journey and learning from those guys.
You've touched on something very, very interesting there when you talked about how the emotions that you felt internally were the same when you were placing trades as they were when gambling. And thank you for sharing your own experience and the challenges that you had during that time, because it takes a lot to come to terms with that. When you discovered trading and you started to have those feelings come up again, was it noticeable around certain behaviors or patterns within your trading? I.e., were there certain triggers that would cause those emotions to be heightened comparative to that feeling of gambling? And where would you say those similarities or differences lie comparing the feelings of trading and gambling?
Right. So it's a very gray area between gambling and actually trading profitably. And that gray area is where traders who either have a system and have a probabilistic edge will essentially it's the difference, right? So they're either gambling or they're trading with an edge. Now, there are times where traders, even with an edge, end up gambling. Why? Because they end up not following their rules. They end up breaking their rules and end up doing things that are impulsive. So when you're gambling, let's say, for example, or on a roulette table, you might go for red or black. Or you might go for even or odd. Now, when you place that bet, it's in your mind, it's a 50-50 kind of bet, whereas it's not really. Now, when you win, it feels really good, because it feels like all you had to do in terms of the effort of moving the chips where you want them to suddenly a few seconds later actually having a profitable return, that kind of instant gratification it enhances so much, and it spikes dopamine so much. And so in trading, it's very similar, because all you have to do is a few clicks in order to make money. Now, if you have a trader who's never managed anything over 6 figures. They've never had that kind of capital before, but they've invested in a prop firm account. Suddenly they have $100,000 worth of leverage.
Yeah.
And so to see those numbers on the screen, and if they place a 50-50 trade and they win, they're going to get a very similar spike in dopamine levels.
Yes.
And so when this happens, the brain of the trader wants to seek more of that, because dopamine is a neurotransmitter that is a motivator. It essentially makes us addicted to certain things that provide us with pleasure.
So you seek the same pattern to receive it again.
Exactly.
Over and over again.
Now, it's a double-edged sword, because then when dopamine levels are deficient, i.e. when you have a spike in cortisol, the stress hormone, then the brain is now seeking some sort of gratification.
Yeah.
And that's when a trader with an edge ends up looking for a trade to make money. And they have these thoughts. Everything in their body, every cell in their body is based on an outcome-based mindset at that point.
Yeah.
And when that happens, they are emotionally hijacked, because where they dopamine deficient, now they're looking to gain that dopamine. They now will do whatever it takes.
Yeah.
Whether it's over trading, whether that's FOMOing into a position, essentially not waiting for confirmation and entering before that confirmation, just to feel like, just to get that rush in dopamine. Exactly. Because, and that's where traders are stuck in this loop. And traders need to break away from this. And I was stuck in this loop. And what allowed me to break away from this loop was systems, were routines, were preparing myself for moments of pressure, of when I was seeking to win, but being able to be calm and composed enough just to resist that urge.
Yeah.
So there's frameworks that allow you to have that kind of composure and control that is sustainable. Because most traders have experienced good discipline a week or two, but then when the pressure is really on, when they finally get funded, when they're very close to a payout, the pressure gets too much and they blow it all. So it's because they're missing certain mental models. So and that's the key difference between a trader that is able to be consistently profitable, can sustain performance, is they have these internal models that are able to be aligned with their edge and aligned with their identity.
Let's dig into that. So you mentioned about how a trader can have specific models to help them to have an edge, which is defined by their own identity. I find that particularly fascinating. In my old career, I've trained salespeople and helped people understand how to make money, but in a completely different field. And I came to understand that it's effectively a science, because you can give someone all the skills in the world, but if they don't have that self-belief, self-confidence, and the ability to handle pressure, all of these wonderful skills become meaningless, because the person using them becomes highly ineffective when under stress, pressure, all periods of significant highs.
Yeah.
Talk to me about the mental models which are most effective within traders and how they change dependent on the type of person who's using it, because what works for you might not work for me and vice versa.
There's one concept in neuroscience called cognitive dissonance. And I'll break it down. Essentially, it's when your actions are not aligned with your values and identity, there's a dissonance. And so when that happens, there's this cognitive self-sabotage loop. Now, in your example where you've got a background in sales, traders and sales professionals, this is very high pressurized roles. And so the top traders or the top sales individuals, the top performers are the ones that can handle the pressure, right? Now, the reason why this happens is because who they say they are and their daily actions are aligned. Those who crumble under pressure, their daily practices, their actions, they're not aligned with who they want to become.
Yes.
And so it's that gap that is the difference between the high performers and the underperformers. So the mental model, the mental model that these high performers are using is quite simply that they have daily practices, rituals, whether that's physical, habitual, verbal, visual, and even the environment that they're in, that is aligned with that identity, is aligned with those values. They have an attitude that it radiates confidence and discipline, and they are consistent across the board. Whereas the underperformers, they're trying to be consistent in following a strategy, a process, but in other areas of their life, they lack that consistency. And so there is this cognitive dissonance between who they want to become and who they actually are, because we are what we habitually do. So a mental model that traders or high performers need to follow is that they need to adopt discipline across their entire life. That's the real edge.
Tell me, in your own thoughts, what's more important, a strong mental mindset or strong daily actions, if you could have one?
I would say the daily actions, because when you have a strong mindset, the strong mindset is also attached to motivation, and you're not always motivated. But there's been times where my clients, they go through periods of doubt. They go through periods of lack of motivation. They have a lot of external pressure, either family, financial, work pressure. But the ones that they're consistently putting in the work in their routine, they're consistently following their rules, no matter what they feel, no matter what mindset they have that day. Those are the guys that, those behaviors, they reinforce the mindset that they're trying to achieve.
Out of curiosity, if you had, so let's say you had a trader come to you and you've given them a framework and a model of how to succeed, and they've got a rough timescale of wanting to achieve that over, let's call it 18 months, just as an argument. If they were to say to you, Rodrigo, 18 months is great, but I want to do it in 6 months. If I do triple the amount of actions, will I get there 3 times as quickly? Does it work like that? Or would you say it works differently?
It can work like that, yeah. It depends on several factors. The most important factor is their trading edge. They need to have an edge. And it's not just an edge that works on a personal trading account. It has to be an edge that works in the prop firm space. It has to be a strategy that can return and stay aligned with the rules of the prop firm. That's first thing. Secondly, they of course need the right routine, the right habits, the right process, the right flow, so that edge can be consistently applied according to their schedule. But on a deeper level, they need to understand what beliefs are serving them and what beliefs are sabotaging them. And this is like the deepest level that you can go with an individual. And there are certain beliefs that traders have that they don't realize are actually holding them back. And it's usually related to money, the relationship with money.
Sorry to cut over you. Tell me about that in more detail, because I find that fascinating.
So most traders have the wrong relationship with money. They have this need to make money. They put money as the main objective.
Mm-hmm.
And when this happens, because money is tied to our survival, and especially in today's world where the cost of living is going up, wages are stagnating, inflation is happening, so buying power is lower and lower. Now, the pressure to make money increases every single year. So traders that are trying to find financial freedom, location freedom, they see trading as their way out.
Yeah.
And so when on a day-to-day basis, when the pressure is on, or if they lose a trade, or there's issues with the platform, they crumble under that pressure.
Yeah.
Because they feel as if that freedom, that goal that they're trying to attain is being pushed away from them.
Mm-hmm.
And that pressure then triggers their fight or flight or freeze response.
Yeah.
They become emotionally hijacked. So their belief about wanting to make money, about I'll give you an example of certain beliefs that hold traders back.
Mm-hmm.
Is the more hours I put in,
Yeah.
the more effort I put in, the more I deserve.
Mm.
I deserve to make money in trading because I've spent the last 6 months back testing. I spent 10 hours a day on the charts. I deserve this, and I expect to win today.
Yeah.
And when that expectation is not met, there's a lot of frustration there, of course. And another type of belief that holds traders back is traders who they've done quite well in life. They've done well in school. They've had good jobs, but they're stuck in the rat race.
Yeah.
But they've done pretty good for themselves. Now, when they start trading, they just can't accept when they're wrong. They can't accept when price moves against them, or they can't accept when they lose. And sometimes they can't even accept when they win because they didn't win enough. And so what happens is they have this belief that they're entitled.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they want that instant gratification.
Yeah.
Because that's what they've conditioned to. That's what they're used to. So in both these cases, there needs to be a review of the beliefs behind money and trading. What truly is trading? Is it a form of making fast money? Is it a way that you can actually find freedom? Well, I can argue against that sometimes, because to become a trader, you have to change who you are. You have to change your identity. You have to cut a lot of people out of your life.
Yeah.
You have to change your routine. You have to start thinking differently.
Mm-hmm.
And you have to be prepared to manage risk, which goes against our survival mechanisms.
Yeah.
And traders don't understand this. They think it's just an entrepreneurial venture, like any other business, like e-com or drop shipping or Airbnb. You know, this isn't like, this is completely different to those business models.
Yeah.
This is a business, but the mental models behind it are way different to entrepreneurial ventures, where when you're grinding, when you put the work in, yeah, you can expect to win. But in trading, it doesn't work like that, because less is more in trading.
Thank you for watching so far. I hope you've gained something from this to help you in your journey with your next QT account. So you're aware, we've got futures coming out. That's coming up very, very soon. So be included in the pre-launch, which you'll find on our website attached. We've passed that 10 million in payout mark. So a fantastic congratulations to all of our traders. Very, very well done to yourselves. And then on top of that, we've also improved our spreads and released both dollar, euro and GBP accounts. So you can now get paid your payouts in your local currency if you're in the UK or the EU. Plenty more to come in the second half, so keep watching, and thank you for being tuned so far. It's funny that you mentioned that, because it's come up before myself and James haven't had a significant background within trading compared to other people who are traders who've gone on to own prop firms. And you mentioned that distinction between trading and running a business, because I would argue that they're not actually related at all, because trading is a skill set used to generate capital from the markets by making a series of decisions over time.
Yes.
You decide that yourself personally, unless someone's taking signals. Whereas operating a business is providing a product or service to the marketplace and managing your cost versus your revenue in order to generate a profit. So actually they're not related at all in any way, shape or form. The benefit of props to traders, and you touched on it earlier, is phenomenal, although you do have to follow a prop firm's rules. Talk to me a little bit about how that has shaped your students and mentees' experience over time, both the positives and the negatives, because you're reliant on a business paying you comparative to simply placing a trade with your own funds and waiting for your price to hit a certain point to withdraw. So I can imagine that adds an extra layer on for your clients. Tell me a bit about that.
Yeah. So do you want to see should we start with the positive side or the dark side?
Let's start with the dark side. Why not?
We'll start with the dark side. Okay. Now, prop firms have provided a huge opportunity for traders and my clients. It provides leverage. But the problem with leverage is that it's double-edged. And because of the way that prop firms are structured, very much like the online casino model, there are certain rules that restrict traders. Now, these same restrictions cause traders to have emotional turbulence. The type of rule, like where if you were trading a personal account and you're trading your model, you would be consistently profitable. On paper, the math will say you are profitable. Because I look at my clients' trading journals. I look at the metrics and I'm like, look, on paper, you are a profitable trader. And they're like, but Rodrigo, why am I not getting payouts?
Yeah.
And it's like, well, it's because of these rules that you need to follow with these prop firms. Or at times you get banned for no apparent reason, or there's delays in payments. Whatever happens in the industry, we know that there's a lot of shady firms that are doing shady things, very unethical things. So there are traders that on paper are profitable. They're doing everything right, but they're just not getting any payouts.
Yeah.
So what I have to do with these traders is not only do I have to help them manage that stress and that pressure, but we also have to look at the strategy. We also have to look at how we can optimize it so that it fits into whatever prop firm that they're using.
Yeah.
So if there's a particular strategy that doesn't have any trailing stop loss, well, we have to start looking at actually trailing that stop loss now, because there might be a trailing stop loss rule.
Yeah.
If there's a particular strategy that over a long period of time, it has profitability, but in terms of trading prop, it might just be too conservative to even just pass the first two phases. Well, we're going to have to increase the risk. But if we increase the risk and it's got a high risk to reward, well, we're going to have to reduce the risk to reward to increase the win rate so we can be a little bit more aggressive.
Yeah.
So then we have to look at the actual mechanics of how the trade is managed. So we have to optimize the how aggressive or how defensive or how offensive we need to be with our risk in order to fit into the rules of the prop firm that we're working with. So this, just to finish my point, is that when traders don't approach it like this, when they don't have a coach to help them out with these kind of things, they are then they become I guess profitable traders are on paper unprofitable now. They got nothing to show for it.
Yeah.
Because of the way that the prop firm rules are laid out. And there's a huge part of the industry that is in this cohort. And it's very frustrating because they've invested a lot of time and money into the prop firm industry. They've just got nothing to show for it.
What wins? $1,000 in a brokerage account, or $1,000 on a $200,000 challenge in your book, what would you say is more suitable for a trader?
So again, it depends on the strategy and it depends on the level that the trader is at. Now, if the trader is someone that knows their edge and understands their strategy, they can handle the pressure, then they're better off working with a prop firm because they're able to have more leverage. Now, if that particular trader has a decent sized bankroll, where if they've got $1,000 and that's all they have to their name, then trading that 200K account is a problem because now they're way too attached to those funds. So they're better off trading personal capital.
Yeah.
Because they have to develop the resilience, the tolerance to be able to manage risk. And they can use that as a simulation to trading a 200K. And they can look at the stats after 3 months to say, what would I have been able to do after 3 months? Now that $1,000, it would be wiser for that trader to break it up into using multiple evaluation accounts rather than just the one. So this is where you have to start thinking more like a business. And you have to start thinking about how can I diversify my $1,000 so that I stay in the game.
Yeah.
So it's also about staying in the game. And so really it depends on the bankroll of the trader, depends how good their strategy is and whether that strategy is optimized for prop firms or not.
Yeah.
Because I've worked with traders, they come to me and they're like, I've got an edge. I've got a profitable strategy. Have a look at it. Look how amazing this is. I'm like, wow, very impressive. Okay, let's put it to the test with this FTMO account. And it's like 3 months later, they haven't been able to pass phase one. And the problem with that is that it's not designed to be able to hit 10% in a week or two or a month. You have to be a bit more aggressive with the risk.
Yeah.
And so it's about every trader has a unique situation, and every trader needs to understand what level they're at, what budget they have, what access to capital they have, and how they're willing to diversify it so that they stay in the game longer. That's what it really comes down to, in my opinion.
I like that. Rodrigo, I'm starting out. I'm a trader. I've bought 2 prop firm challenges and I've put some money onto a brokerage account. I've blown all the challenges and all the money. You've got half an hour with me and your task is to give me as much value as you possibly can in that half an hour. What are you doing and what are you leaving me with as homework to go and do after my time with you?
Right. Now, if we only have half an hour, then we have to break down.
TikTok.
Then we're going to have to go straight into the tools that I've developed.
Cool.
So there's one tool called the Reprogram Trader Matrix. It's going into exactly the root causes of the issue at hand. So what happens when you self-sabotage and you blow these accounts? Exactly. That's the first question. Now, once we figure that out, then we will need to understand what triggers this, what emotional and behavioral triggers occur before the actual impulsive behavior.
Yeah.
And then we need to understand what is the root cause of it. And the root cause can be quite deep, but essentially we're going into beliefs. We're going into maybe some trauma that's happened in the past. And we're trying to, or even just your profession. It might be that you're someone that needs things done quickly. And so you're rushing the process. Whatever the case is, when we go through the RTM, it's really about finding out what the problem is and what the root cause of it. Then, based on that information and that data, I have a database of solutions for every type of problem there is for a trader. Anything that you can think of, there's a solution. There's more than one solution.
Is there a one-size-fits-all solution for all traders that you've seen is really, really effective? Or has it not been quite like that in your experience?
No, everyone's slightly different. So everything that I've done is quite manual, but since we've only got 30 minutes, I'm going to then plug you into an AI application that I've developed that is able to take you through this entire process within, I would say, 20 minutes. And then in those 20 minutes, we'll be able to get a report on not just what the problems are and finding out what the patterns are, but also what solutions there are in place. And then we'll discuss in the final 10 minutes what solutions we can place so that we can start to systemize and create SOPs, standard operating procedures, so that you know exactly what needs to be done for your pre-session process, your trade management, your entry model and trade management, as well as what happens when you finish your session. What are those protocols? And we also need to align your routine, your morning and evening routine. They have to be aligned so that you are ready for that session, physically and mentally. Now, within that 30 minutes, we'll be able to go through that entire process through an augmentation of AI and human coaching. That would be my solution to working with someone like yourself for 30 minutes, someone who's blown accounts, someone who's right now in the dumps, feeling bad. It's like, let's find out what the problem is. Let's find the solutions and let's systemize those solutions. And then we go at it again.
Would you say that the tools that you've developed will work not only for traders who aren't profitable yet, but people who've traded and have a degree of success already? Would you say that they're beneficial, or can that sometimes disrupt the process that they already have?
Now, I've come across a lot of profitable traders, not just traders that have gone through my program and my coaching, but externally, traders that have been successful on their own. Now, one thing that they all say is that the journaling part is a bottleneck. It sometimes slows them down. So when you have an AI solution that you can communicate with verbally, and it summarizes everything for you, all your thoughts, all your emotions, and it has the memory to be able to understand, okay, this has come up before, or right now this particular behavior, this emotion you're experiencing usually ends up in this. This is a good time to reduce risk. This is a good time to walk away. When an experienced trader has this streamlined approach to journaling and instant feedback, that only just enhances their own performance. Because when I talk to the reality is profitable traders, experienced traders, they want to trade and they want to get out. They don't want to spend time journaling. That's the most boring part. What we want to do is automate that. We want to just streamline that. So they're only, throughout their trading session, they're just having a conversation with AI, with voice. And then when it's ready for them to journal, they just copy and paste the report into their TradeZella or into whatever actual technical journal that they have. Done. They're done in 5-10 minutes, and then they can get on with their life, because that's what trading is about. It's providing the financial resources to be able to live a life of freedom. Now, for an inexperienced trader, for an unprofitable trader who has a good strategy, but they're struggling with the psychological side, then they also will benefit from this type of augmentation of both AI and human coaching, because traders need accountability. Traders need to be consistent long enough to be able to see their returns compound and not have a 1 or 2 week good performance and suddenly give it all away on 1 or 2 bad days.
Yeah.
So it's the systems that I've developed and the tools that are available are essentially there to gamify the process, to detach from the outcome. Because the reality is traders are actually gamifying the outcome. Everyone is chasing the P&L. When you go on social media, it's a certificate.
Yeah.
And that certificate and the lifestyle that comes with it is the goal. But really, the traders that I work with, the goal is to follow my rules. My goal today is to complete all my habits and follow my rules, no matter what the outcome is.
So you distance yourself from the result and instead focus on the process or the science or the daily actions thereof. So say for an example, you've got your setup, you've got your predefined stop loss or take profit, place that trade, turn off the app, do not check it, wait until your stop loss or take profit has been hit. And then from there, those are both outcomes that you've already decided that you are comfortable with. There is no emotional attachment to those outcomes because you've already made your peace with them before you even took the trade, and you're not following it the whole way through the day. Similarly to watching the roulette wheel go round and round and round and hoping on the outcome. So thank you so much for sharing so many insights with us, and I'm sure we will see you at our expo very, very soon in September. I hope that traders out there got something from this, and yeah, thank you so much for coming.
Really appreciate the invitation. I'm looking forward to the expo as well. Thank you.
Good stuff.
Hey guys, if you made it this far, we're going to be doing a giveaway. We're going to give away 4 25K instant accounts. And so in order to participate, make sure on YouTube, you're liking, you're commenting your best takeaways. Make sure that you share a story, tag myself and tag QT. Also, make sure you like and send me a DM with the word psychology in order to participate. We're going to be choosing 4 winners, and yeah, just make sure that you are engaging across the board. Thanks for watching, guys.